Here we are back in this bin. This is 4 days since I turned this cold compost bin into the hot bin, and it's heated up. It sort of started heating up the very next day. So these are where the temperatures are at today, 4 days after. You see the middle of the heap's at 44 centigrade now. It's kind of what it looks like. The mycelium, there's a little bit of fungus there growing on the top, which is what I like to see. That's growing in this conifer chip that I literally sprinkled on the surface. It's not hot. Should we put it? It's actually probably delve that right into the heap. It's probably warmer nearer the surface than it is lower down. But guys, you can see the steam coming off it maybe there. This is what benefit turning your heap makes. It, you know, it just reinvigorates the heap, put some oxygen in, and your heap will start to heat up again. The microbes will begin to multiply. There's been no rats back in the bin, which is absolutely brilliant since I've changed these lids in none of the bins, and there's rats everywhere on the allotment at the moment, hundreds of them. So it's worked. We've got no rats at the moment, which is good. Okay guys, you joined me here on the 29th of October. This was the broccoli, it was the collie bed, and when I'd cleared that bed, it's also had beans, French beans in it. It also had lettuce in it. It had a big mix of vegetables growing in it. But when I cleared the bed, it was only a week or two ago, I put down some mustard seed, just because I just wasn't sure what I was going to do with this bed at all. I'm going to put next year's early carrots in here, the Touchon carrots, and I always kind of like to grow something with everything else, like a bit of polyculture, a bit of companion planting, whatever you want to call it. So I always like to put onions or garlic or both with my carrots, because they just seem to grow so well together, the two of them, you know. There's also a bit of an aid from the carrots and onions that it masks the smell of the carrots, hopefully, and the carrot fly aren't as likely to come down. But my beds are netted anyway, but nothing is absolutely foolproof. This is obviously this year's Touchon carrot bed here, which I've just got to get in and weed, but I'll show you that bed in a minute, because that is 9 months of bare soil, and I'll show you, you know, what not digging your soil over actually gives you in terms of weed. Now, just before I've hoed this down, I've spent for 20 minutes going right through looking down here to find bits of soldier, and there's another one there. So I pulled an awful lot of soldier plants out that are sort of that size, that are blown in again, just before I hoe down, just to sort of double sure I've got rid of them. Right, so in here, like I say, I've just hoed this mustard off. I'm just going to rake the surface now. It's a sunny day, which is good, but ideally it would be warmer and it would kill off this mustard. I'm going to pile all the little bits of mustard like that up there, and I'm going to just run it through a sieve, just sieve some of the mustard out of it, because the stuff I'm raking off the top here will also have probably little bits of stone in it, bits of wood chip, bits of all sort of organic matter. Yeah, so I'll just sieve that out, and then I'm going to put some compost on the bed, and then I'm going to put my garlic in, which was excess garlic that wouldn't go in the other bed. I'm going to stick it all in this bed, the elephant garlic included, which is just starting to root in the tray I put it in. I'll show you that anyway, guys. This stuff in this tray was put in about a week after I planted the garlic cloves outside. This here is the messidrome, which I bought from Premier Seeds, and these were the slightly smaller cloves. This is some of my own garlic, which again was slightly smaller cloves, but a few people in the comments have said, why don't you put them in anyway? So yeah, I mean, I always, like I say, I always grow some onions or garlic around with the carrots, so it's going to be perfect for the carrots, this stuff. It's been in these pots obviously since it went in, and it's starting to throw roots around now, so it needs to go in the ground. This here is the elephant garlic, which was put in here about 5 days ago. So I couldn't decide where to put this. So I just literally pushed them in this tray of compost. And you can see I've just checked one, that they've made loads of root. They've got to go in the ground today or very soon, because these roots will already be in the bottom of this tray. So we've got to get them in. They've been in the shed on the bench, these, where it's a bit warmer at night. I think that's why they've come on so fast. But look at my little lettuce there at the back. They're doing really nice. And all these are the transplants that were growing outside in the beds and the path. All these are going in the tunnel. So when I've cleared the tomatoes out here behind me, I'll bring you back for that, and we're going to get these lettuce in. I could put some of this garlic in the tunnel, but it didn't do as well in the tunnel last year as it did outside. It did so much better outside. And I think it's nothing to do with the heat so much as the tunnel soil tends to be a bit drier. I had tubs and containers in here, didn't do as well. Had it in the ground in here, it didn't do as well. Keep it outside. So as soon as I've cleared these tomatoes, guys, or when I get to clearing them, I'll bring you back and we'll show you what else I'm planting or leaving in, actually, in the polytunnel. This is now the third time today I forgot to press record when I'm doing something. What is wrong with me? Right, I raked the bed, I've raked a lot of the weed off, sieved it through. And I've just put one of these barrows of that wood chippy material, you know, my leaf mould, wood chip stuff. I put a barrow full of that on and raked it over. So this is some of last year's made compost. Just going to put some of this down on this bed. And then we can get the garlic in there. I was saying, as I was spreading that out to a camera that wasn't turned on, that this mulch I'm putting on now, i.e. the wood chip, the leaf mould wood chip material and this compost, it just adds a little bit of mulch to the surface, and it'll prevent that weed basically that's underneath coming back a little bit. It'll also be very beneficial for the soil life, this compost. I suppose as well as those little tiny green manure plants that have just kind of been raked in and are now decaying underneath this stuff. It's just all a little bit more green material, isn't it? And a little bit more organic matter for the soil life to chew on. That's done slightly over half the bed. That's compost and mulch. 2 barrows, that's lots and lots of compost. I normally don't put that much on, but because it's garlic is quite hungry. It likes rich soil. And also, as I've also said, it likes moisture, but it doesn't like to be wet. I'm going to net it with a fine mesh net to keep that soldier weed from blowing in, because all of these allotments that are absolutely covered in it now, blanketed in the damn stuff, those people just won't come back now until next year, and that seed is just going to start shedding any day and be blowing all over the site. So I'll try and keep it out of this bed if I can, then I'm not endlessly pulling it up out of there all next year when it starts to germinate. I've put these tabs in. What are they? They're about 2 foot apart, the tabs, and that's the rows that I'm going to plant the garlic in. Now the carrots will be sown in probably a single row here, and like I did with my Eskimos this year, I'm just going to take the time to individually sow all the seeds about 2 inches apart down the row, so I don't have to do any thinning on the carrots, and they just grow so much better than when you're constantly disturbing them, thinning them out. I'll probably fill this bed with this garlic and then maybe some onions further up, and then I'll fill the bed with carrots, because I won't be growing as many carrots essentially by sowing them singular in a single row than I have grown in this bed this year. There's too many carrots in there. We're never going to eat all them because the Eskimo carrots are ready now. So I shall start here. I'll start with the elephant garlic, and I'm literally just burying the bulb, just. and I'm putting them about 6 or 7 inches apart. This is home saved seed, or home saved cloves if you like. I was originally given this garlic 3 years ago, and I've saved seed ever since. There we go, got three rows in there of the elephant. Actually, that stuff in there is pure compost, which I just put scattered in the tray out of a bag, so I will dump that on this here elephant garlic. Full of life, full of microbes and life. I think I'll start off with the messidrome actually. See how far that goes, just because there's more of it. Release your roots, little garlic. Stop growing round in circles. There you go. You're free to escape. Mosquitoes everywhere! Go away! They've taken up a little bit more space than I thought they would. I'll just have to, so I've got 7 in a row. I've got enough there for another row, so I'm just going to hoe and rake this and put a bit more compost on to here. And that will be probably the last row then. I'll bunch them up slightly more together. That'll be a mixed row of messidrome and my own, which will just be for the table. We'll eat them. I'm only doing them like this in these rows so I know which cloves and bulbs they are when I come to harvest them. So I can kind of save a strain, if you know what I mean. I know what the strains are. Then they're not all randomly mixed like they are at the moment, which I don't actually know what sort of garlic they are. The net finally comes off the carrots after 8, 9 months, I don't know, 8 months at least. Let's swizzle this net over and keep the critters off and protect the garlic to a degree from the winds and the savage weather. Give it a little bit of a microclimate. So I'll get another 1-2 rows of onions in there, and then I will put the carrots in. So that'll be, yeah, we're sorted there. Now look at this year's carrot bed. Let's have a look at the weed. So there we go. That is 9 months of weed without doing any weeding on no dig ground. That is what you end up with. I mean, there's a good bit there, don't get me wrong. These things here, they're flowers. So that's flower seed out the border, all of this. And this is it's a pretty, very pretty flower, but I always forget every year, just as it goes to seed, I always forget to take the seed heads off, and it scatters them everywhere. So once I take out that weed, well, that flower seed, you can see there's very, very little left of actual weed. Yeah, that's it. And it's all the same weed, this. There's no soldier at all in it. There's no marestail come up in it, because we eradicated that. This bed originally, I like all the beds, was really bad with marestail. And the couch grass, that was bad for that. Mosquitoes doing my head in today. Another one. Go away. My God, they bite you through your pants. Oh God. Lose your train of thought. Yeah, this all the ground was particularly bad for marestail and bindweed. But through a process of, you know, just constantly pulling it and being determined, as soon as you see it, pull it out, you get rid of it. I still have got a little bit of couch grass there, you can see, that comes up, but it's kind of spreading in from Chris's next door. It just sends its roots out and then it'll pop up. It's not too bad. It's just under this fence between me and Chris. It's very difficult to get out from under a fence, so you've just got to kind of keep attacking it. I'm going to have to go and put some anti-mozzie on, guys. They're everywhere today. But as you can see, no dig is not a recipe for no weeds. You're always going to get weeds. The amount is less than you would get if you was digging it. I've got to say that, because it absolutely is. If you can net all your ground with a fine mesh net, you're going to have even less blowing in from the other allotments. I've currently got 5 mosquitoes circling me. See you in a minute. I'll just show you this actually. I've just took the net off the broccoli, the purple sprouting broccoli, just to do a bit of weeding and tidying up. There's a lot of that Claytonia winter purslane coming up, which has set its own seed. I called it lamb's lettuce in the last video. Someone corrected me on that. I'd just been sowing lamb's lettuce in the polytunnel. So look at that little plant there. So that was one of the broccoli that had clubroot in the pot, which I planted. I didn't realise they had clubroot in the pots, so I put another one in that didn't have clubroot, and I think the spores were obviously already in the soil from the previous one that I put the next one in. It's going down. Look at the leaves, how they're wilting. I can guarantee that is either clubroot that has caused that, or there's something like a wireworm eating the base of the plant. It is in fact clubroot, guys. Look, see the swelling there. I'll bring it in and show you. That one doesn't look very happy actually. I think that one's got it as well. I think this one probably already had it, you know, when I put it in the ground. Yep, that's got it as well. So there we go, that's another 2 down. I really don't hold up much hope for this purple broccoli making it through. I think it's kaput. Here we go, look at that, that's the first one. The bulbous swelling on the base, and that's the second one. That's got a huge, gnarly, horrible club root on it. Well, the purple broccoli is on, it's on limited time. I'm just going to see what it does now. If I get any more of these plants sort of wilting over, I'm just going to take them all out. I'm not just going to tie this bed up with purple broccoli until next year, when I may only end up with 1 or 2 plants surviving. There's just no point. What I'll do is I'll take them all out, get rid of them, and then next year I'll just sow some ordinary broccoli, which is, it's much quicker to grow anyway, much quicker than purple broccoli. And although purple broccoli is absolutely beautiful early on in the year, March, April, I honestly think there's an answer to this clubroot. I'm just researching it at the moment, and I think there's a way naturally of maybe even eliminating it, certainly much reducing it in this soil, and it's all to do with microbes. And all I need to do is a bit more research, and if I come up with the answer, guys, I will share it with you. But I know there's an answer to it, I just know there is, and I will find it if it's there. I may as well clear this carrot bed now, but look at them. They're really nice carrots, aren't they? Little fat touchon. Lots of my little worm friends in here as well around these carrots. Yeah, this was the actual second sowing of carrots, and I didn't get around to thinning these out as much as I would have liked to, but they've still come up. The ones on the ends that have had more light have grown huge. I'm going to take a couple home for me tea tonight anyway, for sure. Look at the mozzies. Go away. And as always on this mosquito riddled day, this is veg plot. signing out from the camera and signing into the shed to go and have a brew. A nice cup of tea. Hey, aye, that'll fix everything, won't it? That'll fix everything. See you later.